Hey guys, join me for some dinner. This is my first dinner here in Addis Ababa. I'm at the Wonder Cafe. Let me show you what I've got. So I have got something called Dulud, which I was recommended by a guy on my plane. This is some spices. I think it might be berberi, I could be wrong. And then we've got, of course, Injera and some Ethiopian cheese. So this is my second Injera of the day, which I love. I'm not complaining. Give me a couple days, maybe I'll be complaining, but I'm very happy for now. Yeah, so it's been a really long day. I started off exploring with one of my roommates in the hostel. That was lovely. And then we went on to meet another roommate of ours. We got some lunch, Injera. I had tips. We got some lunch, and then we went to Mercato, the market, which was not open. We did go to the Sunday market, but we just had a little look around, and a really wonderful family invited us for coffee, and we had coffee with them. And then the younger son, who's about 18 years old, Nuh, he showed us around the market. So it was a lovely day, but I'm so tired. So tired. Okay, let's try this. Bismillah. Oh, Injera is so good, that tang and the spice as well. Let's see what the cheese is saying. I wonder if it's similar to Turkish. That's how you know it's spicy, because I've got the hiccups. I think the meat, the dulud itself is spicy, I believe. But then I've just put the spice on top. So I'm suffering at it. That cheese is not what I expected at all. I like it. What can I compare it to? It's got a tang to it, but not in the way that like feta does. It's very spongy texture. I don't know if you can even see it. Very spongy texture. But I don't know if that's from a cow. I'm going to ask her. I'm not sure what animal that would be from. So the first time I was ever introduced to Injera, I hope I'm saying it right. Is it with an ain? I think so. Injera. I was honestly about 17 or 18, and there was a Eritrean sister. There were quite a few Eritrean sisters actually at my Islamic class that was in, I think it was like round Bloomsbury way. Anyway, it was in central London, so sisters from all over London came, and she invited me and other sisters to her home for dinner. It was so nice, mashallah, and everyone like bought a dish. Now, I saw Injera with the meat, and I had never seen anything like it, and I did not know what to expect at all. So when I had it, I did not like the tang. I was not ready for the tang. I did not realise it was going to be tangy. So for those of you who haven't had this, let me show you what it looks like. The texture is, it almost looks like if you've ever had cow intestines. That's what it reminds me of, 100%. You could say it's slightly similar, well not slightly, like quite similar to, I never remember the name of this pancake in Morocco. In Morocco, when you get the pancake that looks like a crumpet, it kind of reminds me of that. But definitely the cow innards or whatever animal it is, I don't even know. You can see the similarity. And it's got a really tangy flavour. It's actually made of sourdough, which the girl that I'm staying with, one of the women that I'm staying with, she told me today. I didn't know, but it makes sense. Anyways, the first time I had it, I was not expecting the tang. I didn't like it, and even though there was all this amazing food from all over the world at this gathering, I just ate the lasagna. And do you know what? It was the Eritrean girl who made the lasagna, or maybe her mum. And it was the best lasagna I've ever had, and it looked like it was going to be the best, and it was the best in flavour. Salamna. Salamna. Yeah, so what's it called? I just ate the lasagna, and everyone was like, Ruby, come on man, look at all this food in front of you, we're going to eat lasagna. But Eritreans must do lasagna best, because that was the best lasagna I've ever had. I don't know how any Italians would feel about that, but I've never had it in Italy, innit, so. But yeah, I didn't like it. Anyways, I liked the Somali one because it was more sweet. It was sweeter, or at least not so tangy, and now I just love it. Absolutely love that sour flavour. It's so good. Okay, let me reflect on my first day in Ethiopia, my first impressions in Addis Ababa. People have been extremely friendly, extremely welcoming and very hospitable. So like as you're walking through the streets, people just want to say hello to you. They're not hassling you, they're not trying to make you feel any type of way. They're just being extremely friendly. They just want to say hello. The kids all come up to you as well, which is really sweet. I've noticed, also I'm noticing certain things about the language and the culture, very interesting. I feel like me, when I go away, I love to make connections between, not even when I go away, even when I'm in London, like in general, I'm always like making connections between languages and between cultures and thinking, oh, okay, so they use this word over here, but it makes sense because that word came over here and then this spread here, blah, blah, blah. Making these connections in it. So I clocked that to my ear, obviously as someone who doesn't speak either of the languages, Amharic sounds very similar to Somali. It's very guttural, you know, very guttural. And even when it's written down, they use the same transliteration. So I don't know if Somali has an alphabet actually. Amharic definitely does. I've never seen a Somali alphabet. Maybe you guys can correct me or inform me in the comments. But in terms of when it's transliterated into English, it looks really similar, like it looks like Somali. So like the X is a ha. You've got the double vowels like the double I, the double E, the double O to make the long vowel sound. What else? The C for Ain. So it's really interesting. And there's a lot of words as well which are used in Amharic that are Arabic, just like so many languages. But what's a few that I've picked up on? Shuf, they say shuf. Yani, which is just a classic, right? Shuf, yani. I'm sure that I've heard Ma'lish today as well, but maybe I'm just making it up because I'm like trying to listen out for Arabic. But there was this one time a guy said a sentence to me, a full sentence, and I was convinced he was speaking Arabic to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you speak Arabic, blah, blah, blah. And he wasn't. So there's definitely similarities. I can't think of any other words. Marhaba, I think people say marhaba. But yeah, so that's really cool. It makes sense, obviously. A lot of the Muslims here as well speak Arabic because they go Arabic school to learn deen, of course, to learn about their religion. We actually went to an Orthodox service today, church service. Now me, what I love, what has fascinated me for many years is how religion is practiced across different cultures. Now mostly it was Islam to begin with, but Christianity, that interests me too, especially when you come to a country like Ethiopia where Christianity has been in this country for, I think it's one of the longest Christian countries, like one of the oldest Christian countries. So it's fascinating to see how many of their traditions are closer to Islam and they've still retained that, while, you know, in the UK, for example, certain traditions will be lost. So we went to a church service today and we walked in and the choir was singing, and unfortunately we just missed that, like we just caught the end of it. It was so beautiful. But yeah, so we sat in and it was all in Omoro, the language, so we didn't understand it whatsoever. But there were some observations that I made. So for example, this one's pretty typical, but instead of amen, they say ameen, just like Muslims do, just like in Arabic. I think the word for supplication is dua as well. And what I also notice is that while Muslims, when they're making supplication, they do it like this. In church today, they were doing it like that, which I thought was so interesting. Like, I've always interpreted this, like I've always felt like this is sort of quite intimate. Thank you. It's okay, you keep. Salama. Bye. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I've always interpreted this as like, I don't know, like almost like a privacy, like you're holding your dua there and it's private and it's a conversation. And this, it was the priest who was praying, he was clearly saying like supplications, and they were doing it like this, and it was almost like catching it. Like there were times when he was going in, like you could tell he was going in with the prayers, and it was like people were putting up their hand and it was almost like they were catching it. So that was just my interpretation. You lot can definitely tell me in the comments if it's not that at all. But yeah, I just found it interesting how it's basically like an inverted version. Yeah, what else? Oh yeah, no, it's just been great. You know? I've decided that I'm going to go to Lalibela to visit the churches there because they just look incredible. I think they're like thousands of years old. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, so make sure you tune in, come with me.